first met Babette at the Voice Care Network because we're both interested in the idea of a pedagogy of empowerment. And so it's my great pleasure now that it's become somewhat of a tradition that I bring Babette to Western, where I teach music both to my private studio and also to my choirs, to give students a chance to work under her care and with her insights to help empower them to be able to be their most expressive selves.
So I got the awesome opportunity to do some morning classes working with movement, and it was just a great experience because it really set up my whole day. I could go in there and get present in the current situation and get present in the room, and then take that with me throughout my day. And I think that was something that's hard for me to stay in the present. I like to plan and like be future oriented, so it's a really great it was a really great experience to have, and I'm looking to bring more of that present thinking into my life.
Morning classes, morning movement classes were designed to help students understand the principles of the coordinating system and the suspension system, things that could get in their way, structurally speaking. In those movement classes, they were able to develop a deeper understanding and a personal understanding in an embodied way of those principles. During the day, they were able to work with her in an individual singing session that I also got to be a part of, which was so helpful to me to watch Babette work and use the language of this pedagogy of empowerment, we're calling it, to help inform students about the way their systems are working, draw attention to things, illuminate things that they're experiencing, setting up situations of experiment so that students could feel really empowered to be able to continue to develop their skills of self-assessment and to be able to understand in a more deep way the principles that we talk about in the studio, given the fact that I feel so strongly that the work that Babette is doing is really applicable to voice pedagogy.
I had a really amazing experience while Babette was here at Western. She gave me a private lesson and we did a little bit of work together, both in that way and in terms of masterclass time. And one thing that was very important to me was we worked a lot with embodiment and me feeling the emotion of the pieces that I was working on more than just inside here, which has kind of been a habit of mine. That made a huge impact for me, and it really affected my performances kind of following that, as well as my recital that followed that, because it really afforded me the ability to stop inhibiting the emotions that I was feeling, but actually to feel like I was present in what I was singing and to enjoy it much more as a result of that, and also to get better results in terms of having people actually understand what I was trying to come across with. So that was an incredible change for me and a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in our lesson together.
When I was younger in choir settings, we are often told to sort of stand still, stand up straight, shoulders back, and that can actually cause a lot of tension in the voice and in your breathing. So bringing a new understanding to that really helped with the ease of my airflow, and also really helped with just knowing that it was okay to move and you didn't have to be in a position. You could be just in yourself and not just have to stand straight. You could feel free to move around and be in the scene when you're performing.
Well, being introduced to Babette this year was kind of revealing in its own wonderful ways, as having an omniscient narrative on and an opinion on the way we work as human beings. Sometimes, her ultimate teaching was take signals from yourself. Well, I am 19, and the character assigned to me in the opera was 97 or something, and knowing that our body needs to be able to adapt these different expectations and mold frames within which we have to fit ourselves for the sake of making art was very difficult at first, until I realized that it is not. And Babette just showed me ways of acting like an old man physically while being completely present in my voice. The entire structure of a human being. I mean, I even sit different now, now that I've had the chance to meet Babette. Keeping my torso just ready and allowing it to be there all the time without having to manipulate my breath. It is so wonderful. And being able to act like an old man just by staying free like this and letting my limbs do the job, it was revealing on whole different levels that changed the way I act on stage. And my growth as a musician has been thus affected by everything that I connect with my presence on stage. And people just come up and they say, "Oh, you're a rather good actor. I did not even know that." Or "You've started acting better." I mean, it is wonderful being able to portray something you really aren't just by intending to do so and knowing what your body can do.
We had a really incredible experience with Babette in choir as well. She did a lot of work with us with movement with our pieces, and as somebody who grew up the traditional choir girl with a proper stance and no movement at all, stuck to the spot and eyes on the conductor, it was a really new experience for me to do that. And I thought it was so liberating. We moved around the room, kind of embodying the piece as much as we could in whatever way felt real to us. And it improved not only my experience of the emotion of the piece, but also my listening, of moving around and hearing all the other parts around me. And it was so different to present our pieces that way, both to learn them that way and to sing them that way. We got to experience it in such a different way than the rooted to one spot way that we kind of, a lot of us had grown up with in the past. And doing that with Babette really opened up that experience for everybody. And it totally affected the concert that we just did very recently, where we really experimented with our ability to move around a little, to really feel and embody the pieces. And it was a really fulfilling experience for me, and I think for everyone in the choir.
So having Babette in the studio working with my students individually was of incredible service. And it was also great to be able to have her come in to work with choirs. I'm really interested in students developing their skill set as singers, but also as whole artists. And so her wonderful way of working with large groups to be able to help them play with their personal comfort zone of perhaps movement on stage, also some basic embodiment principles around the way they are in their structure, whether we're using movement for some songs or whether it's just about standing in a way that is open and free and available for expression, was of great service to our students, and everyone in both ensembles had nothing but positive things to say. And again, because she was here in September and then again in January, which was ideal, they were able to really work with those principles and check in with her again when she was here. For me personally, in many ways the same kind of gift, because I was able to watch yet again Babette work and immerse myself in the language around working with students in this different way, whether it be about performance anxiety, whether it be about embodied singing in terms of dynamic movement to add to their expressive toolkit, whether it be about learning methods, what might be getting in their way of actually learning the music quickly. In any of those areas, watching her, listening to her use of vocabulary, noting the exercises she was able to work into lesson time with the students was a great value to me. I couldn't ask for better professional development than that.